Hello, I'm Dr. Tracy Mountford and welcome to my weekly Q&A. Today I'm going to be answering some of the top questions about CoolSculpting, and I've had so many of them this week. I want to share them with you and discuss all the things that people ask me on an everyday basis. The first question, and one I get asked all the time about fat freezing, is if I have fat removed from one area of my body, will it go somewhere else? It's something people always ask, and the answer is a categoric no. The good news is the fat will never go somewhere else. Once it's gone for good. Nowhere else will get bigger. It's a myth that this happens. Another question I always get asked about any cosmetic treatment, but CoolSculpting in particular, is does it hurt? And the honest answer is this: it's a medical procedure. It will be a little bit uncomfortable while it's being done, but it's not painful. It feels very much like a sort of squeezy, slightly sucky sensation on the surface of the skin, and it does feel quite cold for around about 3-4 minutes when the applicator's first applied. But once it's been on there for a few minutes, it actually feels completely fine. Once the applicator comes off after about 35 minutes, it does feel a little bit uncomfortable. It's not painful. It feels a bit numb, a bit tingly, and the practitioner does have to massage the area in order to break up the fat cells, so that feels a little bit ouchy, but literally that's over in about 2 or 3 minutes, and then you can go back to completely normal activities. Patients often ask me, do you have any side effects to CoolSculpting? And again, the honest answer to this is there's always a potential side effect to a medical treatment. That is a fact. But the good news is there's hardly anything at all. With CoolSculpting, you can feel a little bit numb after treatment for up to a few days, even up to a couple of weeks. That can happen. There's nothing to worry about that. It's simply that the nerve endings are a little bit inflamed from the treatment, and you will get full sensation back completely. Sometimes it does feel and look a little bit swollen for a few days. Again, that's completely normal and it's nothing to be worried about. It's because inside there's a little bit of inflammation that we've created by the freezing, which we want in order to get a good effect, and that will again last a few days, maybe up to a week or two, but that will also go with no long-term effects. Very occasionally, patients can get a little bit of bruising after the treatment. This is not common, but we do warn about this in case patients are having any facial CoolSculpting done or any treatment on their arms, because of course that can be visible. So we do say maybe that might happen in our clinical practice. That only happens in about 2% of patients, but it's something we do mention, but that will go after a few days, up to 10 days later. Of course, patients will always ask, come on, how quickly will I see results? Everybody wants yesterday, the results yesterday. They're not prepared to wait. I think this is one of the quickest results I've seen in a technology treatment. So when a patient has had CoolSculpting, they will probably start to see some impact from that treatment by about a month. Certainly in facial treatment, patients can see improvement even as early as 3-4 weeks, and it gets gradually better as more and more fat cells are eliminated from the face or body. It gets better and better and better up to about 8 weeks, which is when we do the first review and check that everything is looking really good and as it should. Some patients have reported that it even gets better as a result up to about 12, 14, even 16 weeks, which is really, really impressive. So we tend to monitor for that time. But the good news is within about 2 months, you can see pretty much the full effect, which is very quick indeed. So let me know if you've got any issues with your love handles, with your bingo wings, with your double chins or back fat. Just let me know. Put a comment in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. And don't forget, please follow us, subscribe on YouTube, and I look forward to seeing you soon.